Romance of the Three Kingdoms, Chapter 42.
Zhao Yun, he runs into two brothers, Zongjin and Zongshen. How does he handle them? Because the text makes it sound incredibly fast.
Oh, it's breathtakingly fast. Zhao Yun, right, he just charges with his spear straight at Zongjin and gets rid of him in what the text calls less than 3 bouts, like blink and you miss it.
Wow.
Then Zongshen comes after him, and Zhao Yun just spins his horse, pulls out his famous sword, the green sheath sword.
The Qingyang Baojin.
That's the one. And he literally cuts Zongshen down, the text says, through helmet and head. It's just brutal, efficient fighting skill. It lets him kind of slice through the enemy lines, even with Wenpin's troops right on his tail.
Okay, so Zhao Yun, he's battered, but he keeps going. Eventually makes it to Changban Bridge. And who's waiting for him? Zhang Fei, standing there on his horse on the bridge, holding that massive spear, just this really imposing figure. And Zhao Yun, clearly exhausted, he just cries out, "Yide, help me."
Yeah, and Zhang Fei's reply is just perfect, isn't it? "Zalong, go quickly," he says. "I'll handle the pursuers."
Yeah.
It's just this incredible moment. Defiance. Trust.
So Zhao Yun pushes on. He eventually finds Liu Bei and the others. They're resting nearby. But this is where the story gets really emotional, I think. Zhao Yun gets off his horse, and he's just overcome with grief. He thinks he's failed them, failed Lady Mi and Aiden Edi.
And you can see why, given what he tells them. Lady Mai, she was severely wounded. She refused to get on a horse, said she'd just slow them down, a burden. And then in this really tragic act, she just threw herself into a nearby well to avoid being captured.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and Zhao Yun had to, push dirt and rubble over the well, basically burying her right there on the spot. The weight of that, you can almost feel it in the writing.
And the suspense about Idu. Zhao Yun says the baby was crying in his arms, but then went quiet. So he thought, the worst had happened.
The relief must have been huge when he realized Idu was just asleep. Not yet awake, as the text puts it.
But then comes Liu Bei's reaction, which is, well, it's shocking.
Yes. This is the part everyone remembers, right?
Right.
Liu Bei takes Idu, holds him for a second, and then just throws him to the ground!
Throws him, his own son.
And declares, "For this brat, I almost lost a great general." It sounds incredibly harsh. Callous, even.
He really does. Why on earth would he do that?
Well, okay, if you dig a bit deeper, Liu Bei knew exactly what Zhao Yun had just gone through. The loyalty, the risk. By publicly saying, "My general is more valuable than my son," he wasn't really being cruel to the baby. It was about Zhao Yun. It was a calculated, maybe dramatic, but really effective way to cement Zhao Yun's loyalty. Forever.
Ah, I see. So it's a public declaration of Zhao Yun's value.
Precisely. It's showing extreme trust and appreciation right when things are desperate. It basically screams, your life, your loyalty, that's what matters most right now.
Yeah.
And Zhao Yun's reaction, exactly what Liu Bei hoped for. He immediately scoops Idu up, weeping, right, and vows, "Even if my brains and liver are smeared on the ground, I can't repay you."
Wow.
There's even a poem about it. Sums it up nicely. Cao Cao's army, a flying tiger emerged, a small dragon slept in Zhao Yun's arms. There was no way to comfort the loyal minister, so he threw his own son before the horse.
What a scene. Okay, let's switch back to Changban Bridge. While all that was happening with Zhao Yun, Zhang Fei was still there, alone, facing Cao Cao's whole approaching army. And he looks terrifying, right? Whiskers bristling, eyes wide, holding that famous serpent spear. But he's got more than just sheer ferocity. He's got a plan, a bluff.
Oh, absolutely. It's brilliant, really. He tells his, 20 horsemen to hide in the trees just east of the bridge, and he has them tie branches to their horses' tails.
Right.
So they ride around back there, kicking up this huge cloud of dust, making it look like there's a massive ambush waiting, maybe Zhuge Liang's forces, and it works. It stops Cao Cao's vanguard, guys like Wenpin, completely cold. They hesitate.
And it's not just the vanguard. Soon Cao Cao's top generals show up. Cao Ren, Xiahou Dun, Zhang Liao, Xu Chu, the A-team. Then Cao Cao himself rides up to see what's going on.
Yeah, and this is where Zhang Fei's reputation becomes crucial. Cao Cao remembers Guan Yu telling him that Zhang Fei could, take a general's head from an army of 1 million, picking something out of a bag. He knows this guy is dangerous.
So he's already a bit wary.
Exactly. And then Zhang Fei just lets loose 3 massive roars, challenges them. "I am Zhang Yu of Yan. Who dares fight me to the death?"
And the effect is pretty dramatic.
Devastating. It's pure psychological warfare. The text says, Cao Cao's whole army trembled with fear. One poor guy, Xiahou, one of Cao Cao's officers, is apparently so terrified his liver and guts burst, he just drops dead off his horse from fright.
Seriously. just from the shout.
That's what the story says. And Cao Cao himself, seeing this, thinking there's an ambush, he just turns his horse and bolts, which causes his entire army to panic and stampede, dropping weapons, armor, everything. Just chaos.
Incredible. One man, basically.
It's an amazing moment. Individual completely stopping an army in its tracks. There's another poem for this one too, right?
Yeah. At Changban Bridge, murderous intent arose, holding his spear, standing on horseback, eyes wide, a single roar like a thunderclap. Alone he repelled Cao's million soldiers. So, Zhang Fei watches them run. But he doesn't chase them. Instead, he tells his guys to untie the branches from the horses' tails, that little detail confirming the bluff, which I love, and then he orders the bridge to be broken, destroyed. Then he rides back to Liu Bei, probably expecting, a pat on the back, a well done.
But Liu Bei's reaction is unexpected. Again.
He is a critique.
Right. Liu Bei says essentially, my brother, you're brave, incredibly brave, but that last move, it lacked calculation. Strategic thinking.
Why? Breaking the bridge seems like the logical thing to do, right? Cut off their pursuit.
That's what you'd think. But Liu Bei, understanding Cao Cao's mind, explains it differently. He says if the bridge was still intact, Cao Cao would remain suspicious. He'd still fear that ambush Zhang Fei bluffed about. He wouldn't dare cross quickly. But by breaking the bridge, Zhang Fei basically sent a message, we're scared, we're running, we're desperate. It removed the doubt from Cao Cao's mind. With his huge army, a broken bridge over a river wasn't a real obstacle. He'd just assume Liu Bei's forces were weak and fleeing, and he'd immediately figure out a way to cross and pursue even harder.
So breaking the bridge actually gave Cao Cao the confidence to keep coming.
Oh.
That's counterintuitive.
Exactly. It's a brilliant piece of psychological insight from Liu Bei. And guess what? He's spot on. As soon as Cao Cao sees the broken bridge, he says he broke the bridge and left because he's scared. All doubt gone.
So he doesn't buy the ambush anymore.
Nope. One of his generals, Li Dian, actually says maybe it's Zhu Ziliang's trick, but Cao Cao shoots him down. He says something like, Zhang Fei's just a brute. Brave, but not clever enough for tricks like that. Which is funny because Zhang Fei did just trick him.
Right.
But Cao Cao, he sees it as fear, not strategy. So he immediately orders 10,000 men to build pontoon bridges right away to cross that night.
Wow. So Zhang Fei's heroic stand ultimately might have sped up the pursuit.
In a way, yes. The bluff worked incredibly well initially, but the final act of breaking the bridge undermined it strategically. Liu Bei is just in the absolute worst spot imaginable, like you said, trapped between the Han River and Cao Cao, just relentlessly coming after him. The book really paints it vividly, calls Liu Bei a fish in a pot.
Yeah, and a tiger in a trap. So Cao's basically telling his troops, look, if we don't get him now, he's gone. Like a fish back in the sea or a tiger loose in the mountains. It felt final. Like, this is it for Liu Bei.
It really did. Game over, you'd think.
Right. But then, this is where it gets really interesting. Just when it looks completely hopeless, suddenly you hear drums, shouts, coming from a hillside nearby. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
A total shift. And then,
Yeah.
there he is, Guan Yu, on red hair, green dragon saber. And he just shouts out, I've been waiting here for a long time. Just incredible.
Yeah, my first thought reading that was, wow, lucky break. But no, it wasn't luck at all, was it?
Not even close.
The source says he brought, 10,000 troops from Jiangxia. He'd heard about Changban. And he didn't just wander by. He specifically came to this path to intercept them. That's strategy, not chance.
And what's maybe even more impressive is Cao Cao's reaction. He sees Guan Yu, this legendary warrior, and boom, instantly. His first thought is, another Zhu Ziliang trick.
Right.
And he orders this huge army that had Liu Bei cornered to just retreat, turn around.
Which tells you so much, doesn't it, about the psychological power of reputation.
Absolutely. Zhu Ziliang's genius, just the idea of him setting a trap was enough. It stopped Cao Cao cold. Didn't even need a real ambush.
Mind games on a grand scale. So, okay, first rescue achieved. Guan Yu chases Cao Cao off for a bit, like 3 miles maybe?
About 10 li, yeah.
And then comes back to protect Liu Bei. They find boats waiting at the river. And there, on the boats, you get this really human moment. Guan Yu asks about Liu Bei's family, and Liu Bei's obviously devastated about Changban. Then Guan Yu brings up that old hunt at Zixin.
Yeah, suggesting a missed opportunity from the past. Like, if only we'd acted then.
And Liu Bei just says, I was caught between a rock and a hard place. It's this quick glimpse into their history, the tough choices, the weight of it all.
And they're having this quiet, heavy moment. And then more drama. Suddenly more war drums, more boats. Loads of them, like ants, the text says, from the South Bank.
Liu Bei must have thought, oh, no, not again.
Exactly. Alarm bells ringing. But then relief. A voice calls out, Uncle, are you well? and it's Lu Qi.
Ah, Lu Qi. Dressed in white robe, silver armor?
Yep, saying he came to help. And think about that boost to morale. First Guan Yu, now Lu Qi with more forces. It's not just troops, it's hope. Tangible hope.
Just when you think the cavalry can't arrive again? It does. Third time's the charm, maybe. More warships pull up, this time from the southwest. And Li Qi's worried now, right? He's thinking, okay, this has got to be Cao Cao or maybe Eastern Wu.
Understandable fear.
Yeah.
But then, who steps out onto a boat? Calm as anything.
Zhu Liang.
Zhuge Liang,
He.
feathered fan, Taoist robe, the whole iconic look,
Mhm.
with Sun Qian beside him.
And this is where the genius really shines. He explains it all.
Masterful.
Yeah.
Utterly masterful. He basically says, okay, here's the plan I set in motion ages ago. I sent Guan Yu here to the Han River because I figured you wouldn't escape from Jiangling, you'd come this way.
He predicted the escape route.
Precisely. Then he arranged for Lu Qi to meet him here, while he himself went off to Xiakou to gather even more troops.
Wow.
It's chess on a massive scale. This wasn't luck. It was layers upon layers of planning, anticipation, orchestration. It saved them. Simple as that.
So everyone's finally together. On a boat, no less. And they have this crucial strategy meeting right then and there. Zhu Liang gives his main advice.
He points to Xiakou, says it's got solid defenses, good supplies, fortified city, plenty of money and supplies, can be defended for a long time. That's the quote.
And his plan, split the forces.
Yeah, divide and conquer, essentially. But for defense, Liu Bei takes the main force to Xiakou. Lu Qi heads back to Jiangxia to prep warships and weapons.
Creating a kind of pincer.
Exactly. The text calls it Junyo the posture of horns, like a pincer. Zhu Liang's worry was if they all piled into Jiangxia, they'd be isolated. Easy target.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Makes sense.
It's strategy 101, but applied brilliantly under pressure. Keep your lines flexible, force the enemy to split their focus, create multiple points of strength.
And it's interesting, Lu Qi agrees, but he adds his own thought, right?
Yeah.
Suggests Liu Bei come to Jiangxia first to get the troops organized.
He does. And Liu Bei accepts that tweak. It shows, even in this crisis, it wasn't just Zhu Liang dictating. It was collaborative, fluid.
They're trusting each other's judgment.
Absolutely. And that trust, that delegation, is key. Liu Bei isn't trying to control every little thing. He trusts Guan Yu to fight, Zhu Liang to plan, Lu Qi to organize. That distribution of responsibility makes the whole operation much more resilient. If one part fails, the others can still function.
Okay, let's switch back to Cao Cao. He's just retreated from Guan Yu's surprise appearance. What's his next move?
Caution. He's definitely spooked by the Zhu Liang trick idea.
Yeah.
Doesn't dare push forward immediately, suspects more ambushes.
And he's worried Liu Bei beat him to Jiangling.
Big time. Where Liu Bei took a water route and seized the city already. So despite the retreat from Guan Yu, he pushes his main army hard, marches them overnight, straight for Jiangling.
And what happens when he gets there?
Jingzhou basically just falls into his lap. The officials there, guys like Deng Yi and Lu Xin, they already knew what happened in Xiangyang. Knew Cao Cao's army was overwhelming. They figured resistance was pointless.
Yeah.
So they just surrendered the whole region. Military, civilians, everything.
Pragmatic.
Very. And Cao Cao handles it cleverly, too. Enters the city, calms everyone down, frees this guy Han Song, who'd been imprisoned, rewards the officials who surrendered. Swift consolidation of power. Smart politics alongside the military force.
But even with Jingzhou secured, he's still got Liu Bei buzzing around in Jiangxia. That's still a problem for him.
A big problem. He's really worried Liu Bei will link up with Sun Quan and Eastern Wu. He uses this metaphor. Liu Bei is like a weed that needs pulling before it spreads and gets too strong. He sees the danger of that alliance forming.
So how does he plan to stop it?
His advisor, Sun Yu, comes up with this really slick two-pronged strategy. Very cunning.
Okay, what is it?
Prong 1, sheer intimidation. Muster the entire army. Claim it's 1 million strong, even though it's more like 830,000, but hey, who's counting?
Inflate the numbers. Classic move.
Totally. Spread the camps out for like 300, that's nearly 100 miles along the river, advance by land and water. Just look overwhelmingly powerful.
Okay, that's the muscle. What's prong 2?
Psychological warfare. Send a formal declaration to Sun Quan, but get this, it's an invitation.
An invitation to what?
To hunt Liu Bei together, like they're buddies. Cao Cao offers to split Jingzhou with Sun Quan afterward, forge a permanent alliance. Super generous offer, right?
Seems almost too generous. Why would he offer that?
Ah, that's the genius of it. Cao Cao isn't expecting Sun Quan to actually say yes. The goal is to put Sun Quan in an impossible position, make him suspicious of Liu Bei, create division within Eastern Wu, make surrender seem like the only logical option compared to fighting this million-man army and potentially angering Cao Cao further. He's trying to win the campaign before it even starts. Pure psychological pressure.
Cao Cao's army, it's massive. He's already taken Shenyang. Lu Tong surrendered, and now he's barreling towards Jiangling. I mean, this is a seriously intimidating force.
Yeah, it really is. And what's fascinating is Sun Quan's reaction back in Chaisang County. He doesn't just panic. No, he immediately calls his advisors together. He's not just reacting. He's proactively trying to figure out a strategy.
Right, getting ahead of it.
Exactly. It shows real leadership, In a crisis, gather your people, get information, strategize, don't just flail. He knew time was critical.
And it's in that meeting that Lu Su comes up with this really insightful proposal, right?
Yes. And it's brilliant, especially given how unstoppable Cao Cao seems. Lu Su basically paints Jingzhou as having, like, imperial capital potential. It's perfectly located, tons of resources, lots of people. His idea is to use this very specific moment.
Yeah.
Liu Biao just died, Liu Bei just got defeated to go to Jiangxia.
Okay.
Ostensibly, it's for condolences. That's the cover story. But the real plan is to talk Liu Bei into teaming up with Sun Quan against Cao Cao.
Ah, so it's not about sympathy at all.
Not really. It's pure strategy. Grab crucial land, build a strong alliance against this massive common enemy.
Makes sense. So Sun Quan sees the genius in it, gives the okay, and sends Lu Su off. And that sets up this incredibly dramatic meeting. Okay, let's switch perspectives. We've got Liu Bei, Kongming, that's Zhugeling, of course, and Lu Qi over in Jiangxia. And they're in a pretty tight spot themselves.
They really are. They're discussing their own desperate situation. And Kongming, well, he has an initial idea. Given Cao Cao's overwhelming strength, he says, look, our best bet is to head east, try to get refuge, maybe an alliance, with Sun Quan in Eastern Wu.
Eastern Wu, okay.
The goal, he says, is to create a kind of north-south standoff. That way, Liu Bei's forces might be able to profit in the middle, as the text says.
Leverage the big players against each other. Classic.
Exactly. It's a smart move for the weaker side.
But Liu Bei is doubtful here, isn't he? It feels very human. He's been beaten down.
Yeah, he's skeptical. He thinks, Jiangdong is full of clever people. Why would they want to team up with us, especially now?
How does Kongming respond to that? Because his confidence seems almost arrogant, maybe. That whole 3-inch tongue thing.
That's a good point. But Kongming knows Liu Bei. He probably understands that sometimes. You need that bold confidence to inspire hope, when things look bleak. So he just laughs it off. He says, look, if an envoy does come from the east, I'll go myself. I'll use my 3-inch tongue. My eloquence, basically.
Right, his famous persuasion skills.
Exactly. To convince the North and South to fight each other. He lays out this whole vision. If the South wins, great. We all gang up on Cao Cao and take Jingzhou. If the North wins, well, then Liu Bei can grab the chance to take Jianyan. It's this incredibly bold, far-sighted plan, designed to give Liu Bei hope, a path forward.
And the timing. It's almost unbelievable. Just as Liu Bei says, I doubt an envoy will come.
Right on cue. News arrives. Sun Quan has sent Lu Su, ostensibly for condolences, and his ship's already docked.
Wow, what does that perfect timing suggest? Seems almost too convenient.
Well, Kongming's reaction says it all. He immediately cries out, big things are done.
Dashi-ji-yu.
He gets it instantly. Instantly. He sees right through the condolence visit. He knows what this really means. And his insight here is just, it's brilliant diplomatic analysis. He immediately asks Lu Qi this key question.
Which is?
Did Xiangyang send condolences when Sun Si died? Sun Si being Sun Quan's older brother.
Ah, checking the history.
Precisely. And Lu Qi says, no, of course not. There was this deep father-killing enmity between Liu Biao and the Suns. Condolences were unthinkable.
Okay, so there's bad blood.
Deep bad blood. So Kongming, knowing this history, instantly puts 2 and 2 together. Lu Su isn't here for sympathy.
He's here for intel.
Intel, and probably to feel out an alliance. It just shows you have to look beyond the surface gesture, consider the history, the context, the underlying motive.
That's a great point. Even seemingly nice actions need scrutiny.
Especially in politics and war.
So realizing this, Kongming gives Liu Bei very specific instructions.
Yes, a script, basically. He tells Liu Bei, act completely clueless about Cao Cao's movements. Total ignorance.
Play dumb.
Exactly. And if Lu Su pushes, if he asks tricky questions, just say, oh, you'll have to ask Kongming about that. Divert him.
Setting the stage for Kongming himself. Very clever.
It's a beautifully orchestrated charade.
So the initial meeting happens. Courtesies are exchanged. Lu Su meets Liu Bei. And just as expected, starts asking about Cao Cao's army.
And Liu Bei plays his part perfectly, sticks right to the script. Oh, we were too weak, we had to run immediately. I know nothing, absolutely nothing about Cao Cao's real strength.
Selling the whole helpless leader angle.
Flawlessly, just completely overwhelmed, totally uninformed.
But Lu Su's no fool, right? He pushes back a bit.
He does, he's persistent. He mentions Kongming's recent wins, those 2 fires that supposedly terrified Cao Cao's army.
Implying, come on, you must know something.
Right. It's a subtle probe, like, your advisors are brilliant, surely you got some intel.
And how does Liu Bei handle that?
Perfect deflection again. He just repeats essentially, that's Kongming's business, only he would know the details.
Passing the buck, but making it sound reasonable.
Exactly. And it works. He successfully steers Lu Su towards Kongming, who was the real target all along.
So Liu Bei sets up the meeting, Lu Su and Kongming. This is the main event, really.
The stage is perfectly set. Everything's gone according to Kongming's plan so far.
Okay, so Lu Su meets Kongming, greets him respectfully, then gets straight to the point. How dangerous is this situation?
And Kongming, he continues the act, another masterstroke, really. Strategic vulnerability.
How so?
He says basically, oh, I know Cao Cao is cunning, but we just don't have the power. We have to avoid him for now. He throws in this little tidbit suggesting Liu Bei is thinking of seeking refuge with some minor figure, Wu Chen, who's known to be weak.
Making them sound even more desperate.
Exactly. Lowering expectations, making themselves seem almost pathetic. It's designed to make Lu Su feel like he holds all the cards and needs to offer them a solution. It draws out Lu Su's real purpose.
And Lu Su completely falls for it, takes the bait.
Hook, line, and sinker. He immediately counters Kongming's feigned weakness. He starts talking up Sun Quan's strength. 6 commanderies, tons of troops, supplies, respects talent.
Building up his own side.
Right. And then he makes the direct pitch. We should ally. You should send someone trustworthy to Eastern Wu to discuss this. The real mission is finally out in the open.
But Kongming, he still plays coy, doesn't he? One last feint.
One last bit of reluctance. He says something like, well, Liu Bei doesn't really have ties with Sun Quan. And gosh, who could we possibly send? We don't have anyone suitable for such a vital mission.
Pushing Lu Su to name the candidate.
Precisely. Forcing Lu Su to suggest the obvious person he wants.
Which leads to this moment. Lu Su suddenly discovers, and you have to wonder about those quotes, that Kongming's own brother works for Sun Quan.
Right. Kongming's brother, Zhuge Jin, is a counselor in Eastern Wu.
And Lu Su offers to personally take Kongming to meet Sun Quan.
Yeah. So the big question, like you said, was that a genuine discovery, a lucky coincidence? Or was Kongming subtly guiding things so he would inevitably be chosen for the mission?
It really makes you think about the layers here. How much was planned?
It's impossible to know for sure, but knowing Kongming, you suspect it wasn't entirely accidental.
And then the final scene of this act, Liu Bei pretends he can't possibly let Kongming go.
Right, the whole, I can't be without my teacher for a moment, routine, high drama.
But Kongming insists, the situation is urgent, I must go.
And Liu Bei reluctantly agrees. It's just perfect political theater. Both of them playing their parts for Lu Su, who probably thinks he's skillfully navigated this whole negotiation.
When really he's been guided the whole time.
Arguably, yes.
So Lu Su and Kongming get on a boat, heading for Chaisang, and the stage is set for the next, even bigger phase. The text even hints this journey leads to Cao Cao's defeat.
Causing Cao's soldiers soon to cease. It foreshadows the massive Battle of Red Cliffs.